Can the Mustangs play like that over a stretch of the entire ACC tournament like they did against Syracuse? Can they do that? Because that looked pretty good to me.
You are Locked On SMU, your daily podcast on the SMU Mustangs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
SMU gets the big win they needed over Syracuse. I'm not going to lie. At the beginning of the game, it looked like it could be a little bit dicey with the Orange. But nevertheless, especially once after halftime, SMU looked definitively like the better team. And just hats off all the way around. All the way around. Hats off. Hats off to Boopy Miller, Jerron Pierre for getting it going in the second half. Samet Igutolu and Jaden Toombs, double round of applause for them. They were excellent. Andy Enfield, I thought he was fantastic. I thought he coached a great game as well. All in all, it looked great for the Mustangs. And as we'll talk about at the end of this bonus episode, it looks a lot better for them being in the NCAA tournament. By the way, welcome in. Post-game reaction, Grayson Singleton here on Locked On SMU. Glad you're with me. Tomorrow preview SMU Louisville. I tried to get Dalton Pence on tomorrow. He was unavailable, so it'll just be you and I, but glad all of y'all enjoyed the episode with Jackson Holzer on earlier today. But with this SMU Mustangs team, can they just do that? Like, can they do that against a Louisville team that will not have Michael Brown Jr.? Can they do that? Because if so, that might be good enough to get them past Louisville, and they for sure would be in the NCAA tournament at that point in time. But for the Mustangs in this game, it was an all-around excellent effort from everybody around. Everybody around. From Boopy Miller getting it going and sustaining that through the entirety of the game. From Corey Washington, Jerron Pierre contributed and really got going. Started off really cold, but got going in the second half. Pretty much saw both sides of the Jerron Pierre Jr. double-edged sword. And then how about Samet Igutolu and Jaden Toombs? Especially Jaden Toombs. But both of them on the interior wrecked shop. Wrecked shop against Syracuse. On the glass, distributing the ball out of the post when they were doubled. They were under control. They were comfortable. And then they got buckets as well. Jaden Toombs was outstanding. Outstanding in this game today. And this was a guy, Wes Durham mentioned it multiple times on the broadcast, but this was a guy that was a top 40 recruit, and it just took a little bit. Not all freshmen are going to pop during the regular season, and it took a little bit for Jaden Toombs to have a game like that. And they needed him to have a game like that. And that ultimately goes to show that somebody was going to have to step up in the absence of B.J. Edwards. Somebody was going to have to step up and have an otherworldly game above the status quo that they had posted for the regular season. And today it was Jaden Toombs. Because how under control he was so phenomenal to watch. So phenomenal to watch. He never panicked. He never looked rushed. And the best thing was the moment wasn't too big for him. You're playing in the ACC tournament. We all knew what was on the line for SMU if they lost the game. And he delivered. He met the moment, and he delivered. And it was outstanding. It was outstanding to have because, as I told Jackson earlier today, you knew what you were going to get from Boopy Miller. You knew you were going to get the streakiness of Jerron Pierre, a lot of cold, but he would heat up. And you needed something else. You needed something else. Samet Igutolu has been playing good basketball, and he's been progressing, but you still needed something else, and you got that something else from Jaden Toombs. The other piece to this equation, too, I think, was Andy Enfield. And I'll go more in depth on this in tomorrow morning's episode, but Andy Enfield, I thought, coached a hell of a game with the way he was confusing Syracuse, giving them different looks, going from that zone to a man, back to a different zone. And the way his team looked comfortable. And the way that no matter what Syracuse wanted to do, SMU answered with poise, with their bearings underneath them, and like a veteran team, the veteran team that they are. Boopie's been around the block. Jerron has been around the block. Corey Washington isn't young. Smet's a sophomore. Jaden Toombs a freshman. And that's cool, but you need your veterans to show up and play like veterans, and they showed up and played like veterans today. Hats off to them because they were all outstanding. But Andy Enfield gets a round of applause too. First coach in SMU history to win 20 games in each of his first 2 seasons. Round of applause to the head coach. Round of applause. And I'm not saying that to troll anybody that wants him fired. I know y'all aren't going anywhere, but round of applause to him. And he deserves it. If you're going to want him fired, you need to be fair to him when he accomplishes something. He coached a hell of a game. But can this SMU team look like that? And when I say look like that, can they play every single game not rushed, not panicked, no matter the circumstances, no matter what is up in the air, no matter the opponent? Can they play under control, and can they get to their game? And if so, they can beat Louisville, a Cardinals team that's going to be without Michael Brown Jr. They absolutely can, with or without BJ Edwards, by the way, if they play like that. Boopie was in command the entire time. When no matter what look Syracuse threw at them, okay, cool. Let's go out here. We're going to enter it into the middle. All right, that middle guy, do your thing, but if they double, know where your guys are. They never looked sped up. Never looked sped up. Can they do that? And when they do it, it leads to a lot of good things. Open shots from the 3, open shots from the mid-range. They ran the high-low action very well. Jaden Toombs had over 6 assists. You can get it to the middle and then kick it back out. They showed what you can do when no matter the look the other team gives you, you just stay calm, get into what you need to get into, and then execute. That goes to veteran leadership, and that goes to coaching as well. They were well equipped for what Syracuse threw at them. And it was evident. Yes, SMU blew them out in the second half, and they blew them out. No, Syracuse is not a good team, and their season has mercifully come to an end. But the Mustangs came in with a good game plan. They came in well equipped. Nothing surprised them. And that showed that they played with the poise that they played with in round 1 of the ACC tournament. All right, now coming up next, I want to get back to the tournament outlook to close up this bonus episode because that is what we're all talking about. Did SMU punch its ticket? Maybe, but not all the way. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house, it's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play-by-play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to a TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment today. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger payouts with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits your desire. You can mix spreads with totals or player props to match how you see the slate playing out. And then all you got to do is apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold. Ride with the team you've been following all season long. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. All right, welcome back to the show here as we wrap up SMU's win over Syracuse in round 1 of the ACC tournament. So, did the Mustangs punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament? My answer is yes, but. So, they started in terms of multiple projections. Some had them as the second team in the last 4 in. Some had them in the third team in the last 4 in. But with their win, in conjunction with the Stanford loss, I think they're sitting in a really good position. One of ESPN's analytics guys now has SMU's chances to make the NCAA tournament at 59%. 59%. So the Mustangs undoubtedly are sitting pretty cool as it pertains to getting into the NCAA tournament. But there still is a couple hurdles that are left to be clear. VCU is still a problem, sitting ahead of them. UCF is still a problem. And as I'm recording this, UCF is tipping off against Oklahoma State in the, I believe it's Oklahoma State, who they are playing in the Big 12 tournament. I'll double check that. So UCF is still a team that you need to be watching. Never mind. Oklahoma State plays Colorado. So I take that back. But what's going to happen here is that you have to focus on what SMU is doing versus what the bubble is doing. UCF, by the way, will take on Cincinnati tomorrow, just to correct that. But as it pertains to SMU taking care of business, they did that. And I think that should be enough, even if they lose tomorrow to Louisville, to get them in. They would probably be on the last 4 in line, but they would be in the NCAA tournament. Now, a win over Louisville would put all this to bed. A win over Louisville, you're going to the NCAA tournament. And you will hear your name called in some way, shape, or form on Selection Sunday if you beat Louisville. And again, Louisville's going to be without Michael Brown Jr. But their overall net ranking now is 39. You're in a good enough spot there. Their resume ranking is in the 40s, I believe in the mid to low 40s. So that could use some improvement with a win over Louisville, but they're still sitting in a decent enough spot. As it pertains to right now, you as an SMU fan should not be sweating this out right now. Stanford eliminated itself. Cal has a game against Florida State, who proved to be pesky down the stretch and put together a pretty nice stretch of basketball to end the season. So that game could go either way. FSU will not make the NCAA tournament. I think a lot has to happen for them to make the tournament that I just don't think is a high likelihood. So I'm not too worried there about the Seminoles. But Cal, if they lose to Florida State, that kind of removes them. So now if you're SMU, you're basically just trying to say, okay, can we stack one more win so we avoid being at the mercy of a bid stealer? That's what you're worried about now if you're the Mustangs. So you have done what you need to do. The need to do was win the game against Syracuse. They did that. I think they're sitting okay. But if you really want to make yourself feel even more comfortable, beat Louisville. That way you really remove any doubt. You're not at the mercy of things still slipping your way because SMU has tried luck so far. The Mustangs have tried luck far. And so far, at least heading into the ACC tournament, they had come out okay. They had come out okay in terms of luck. But with all those teams losing on the bubble over the weekend and stuff, you ended up all right. By the way, the fact that Wake Forest took down Virginia Tech, huge win for SMU. Huge win for the Mustangs. So, all this to say, if you're SMU, continue to control the things that you can control. The things that are out of your control have shook your way so far. But control the things that you can control. Get that win over Louisville, who is without maybe their best player, and you should be good. By the way, BJ Edwards has been upgraded to questionable, according to Andy Enfield. At the time of this recording, he is questionable. Will he play tomorrow at 1:30? I don't know. But should they advance to Thursday? I think there's a decent likelihood you get him back. I think there's a decent likelihood you get him back for Thursday. But got to beat Louisville before then. So the Mustangs tournament chances looking pretty decent. They have improved with the win. They needed that win over Syracuse. Continue to control what you can control, and we'll be talking about this team playing in the big dance. All right, that'll do it for Locked On SMU here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Appreciate you guys tapping into this bonus episode. See you guys tomorrow for a preview of SMU Louisville. Take it easy.